As designers, many of us begin our journey learning a structured, almost linear process. Step 1 leads to step 2, and eventually to a final solution. But once you step into real-world projects, you quickly realize that design doesn't work that way. It's often messy, iterative, and sometimes even confusing. That's exactly why having a process is important, not as a rigid set of rules, but as a guiding framework that provides. It's equally important to understand that no single process fits every project. A good designer knows how to adapt, reshape, and apply the process based on the context, constraints, and goals of each situation. One of the most widely used frameworks in UX and product design is the double diamond method. This model breaks the design journey. Let's begin with the first diamond, which focuses on the problem space. The first phase here is discover, where your goal is to explore the problem as broadly as possible. This is not the time to jump into solutions. Instead, you dive deep into understanding the context, through user research, data analysis, stakeholder discussions, and even competitor analysis. You're trying to uncover insights, identify pain points, and journey into two major phases. Understanding the problem and creating the solution, each represented by a diamond shape. These diamonds visually represent two critical modes of thinking: divergence and convergence. In simple terms, divergence is about expanding your thinking, exploring possibilities, and asking questions, while convergence is about narrowing down, making decisions, and focusing on what here is developed. And once again, we begin with divergence. This is where creativity comes into play. You explore multiple ideas, experiment with different concepts, and visualize potential solutions. You might create user flows, sketch wireframes, build low-fidelity prototypes, and test early ideas with users. The key here is not to limit yourself. This is your opportunity to think freely, iterate curiosity, exploration, and asking the right questions. Once you've gathered enough insights, you move into the define phase, which is about convergence. Here, you synthesize all your research, identify patterns, and distill everything into a clear problem statement. You begin to prioritize, set boundaries, and define the scope of the project. This is where ideas like how might we questions, user needs, and product how might we questions, user needs, and product requirements take shape. Collaboration becomes essential at this stage, as designers work closely with product managers and developers to align on what needs to be built and why. By the end of this phase, you should have a clear direction and a well-defined